We all remember the awful events of September 11, 2001. Artist Dawn Siebel of Easthampton has now created 343 portraits of New York's bravest who fell on 9/11, is now on exhibit at the Springfield Museums. Connecting Point correspondent Carolee McGrath spoke with Dawn to learn what inspired her to create this tribute to the fallen.
I knew almost on that day that I wanted to do something about the firefighters, but it was many years before I suddenly woke up one day and said, oh, I'm going to paint them on burned blocks of wood. And it took about 120 hours to prepare the wood before the painting could start. And then my best estimate is it probably took about 3,000 hours for all the painting. I used to live in New York City for a long time, in Manhattan, but I was living in Colorado on 9/11, and I woke up, heard about it on my clock radio. They said a plane flew in, they still thought it was a small plane. I immediately was a New Yorker again, got up downstairs, turned on the TV and watched the second plane fly in. And I sat there all day long like millions of people around the world, just stunned, in shock, horrified. And it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Colorado time, that someone came on and said, we think that more than 300 firefighters died today. That's when I sobbed. That made the day real to me. And for me, it still holds everything of the day, because it holds all the terrible, but it also holds all the good. These are not the only heroes that day. There were thousands of heroes, but they represent the good part of the day, the people who went in to help each other.
I'll never forget some of the pictures that we would see on the news after of the firefighters running in. I mean, you have all these people who are trying to get out of the building, and they had like, 60, 70 pounds of equipment, and they're running up, 100 flights. And it's stunning to me that that's how they think. Like, it wasn't even a thought. Like, they did it.
It was the fire of their lives. They were going to rescue people. That's what they do. They were going to, and they did. They helped thousands of people get out of that building.
You had mentioned that you didn't know firefighters prior to doing this exhibit. Now, here you have, portraits of 343. Can you share with us any stories about any firefighters in particular?
Well, I'll tell the one of Tommy Foley. He was actually loved being a firefighter. But the story his mother told me when I met her was that his father promised his wife that he would find Tommy and bring him home for burial. So his father went down to Ground Zero and was on the roof of Ten House, which is the firehouse that's right there across the street. And finally he sees a helmet with his company number on it. So he let them know on the ground where he saw the helmet. And they got there, but it was still too hot to dig down there. Cameras melted when they put them underground there. So they marked it with an orange cone and weren't able to get back to it for several more days. When they did get back to it, they found one of his Gerard Schrang, one of his buddies, and they found Tommy, where his father had found the helmet.
So tell me about Oreo Palmer.
Well, he was one of the ones that firefighters started to tell me about when the exhibit was on tour. And he was a marathoner. By 9:58, his team, somewhere else, I'm not sure where, actually rescued civilians who were trapped in an elevator. 9:59, the building came down and took all of them with it. Father Michael Judge, his death is the first official death of the day, is number 001, but he was not the first one to die that day. Obviously, there were jumpers. He was administering last rites to whomever he could. This is the first firefighter who died that day, and he was actually killed by a jumper. So Michael Judge administered last rites to Daniel Sir, whose team then carried him off the sites and wasn't there when the second tower collapsed. They figured that he had actually saved their lives. His is chief of department. This is the highest ranking firefighter except for the fire commissioner. I have never met a New York City firefighter who didn't speak incredibly well of him. He was obviously much beloved.
Why do you think this is so important, especially for the younger generation who maybe wasn't even born yet on 9/11?
Most of what we remember about 9/11 is so terrible. But there's just an amazing number of really good stories about 9/11, about really, the title of the piece came to me the same day I knew I wanted to put them on burned blocks of wood. And the title, The Better Angels, is from Lincoln, and it's from his first inaugural, and the very last sentence, which he apparently wrote at the very last day and put it in there, but he's asking the nation to heal its wounds by appealing to the better angels of our nature. So in some way, for me, that's what this is. It's about the healing part of it. It's about the honoring and the good part of it, and not just the terrible, awful, hating part of it. So that's, I think, the relevance and the ongoing relevance of this piece. And I believe that when you look at the whole exhibit, you sort of get in your gut how many there were. But then because the paintings are small, you have to go close, and so your connection to them is intimate. And when you're close and intimate looking at them, what you really see is the individuality. There's a lot of character on this wall. You know, that really, I hope, comes through. That was my goal in painting them.
What would you like to tell people on why they should come and view this?
Come to honor these men. Come to be moved by them. Come to be inspired.